All right, guys. So, how's it going? Hope you guys are well. I'm going to go over a trade recap on the day. It's September 19th. This is the Monday before FOMC on Wednesday. So, that's going to be a big day. But we were looking here. So, here's what I was looking at. So, on Friday, we had this hammer, right? This was the hammer bouncing out of a 30-minute demand zone right here back on 15th of July. So this is a really strong zone due to the volume node at that area. So we were definitely looking for bounces. And due to this candle close on Friday on high volume, this was on NQ. ES also had the same thing here, high volume. Looks like the replay doesn't, just goes back. So this is what we're looking at. We have a high volume candle, small spread at the lows of a two-legged trend right here. We got one leg up, we pulled back for one day, and now we're on the second leg. So, team and I, we were looking for longs today. We were not going to play short. We saw buyers come in Friday and defend those lows, and so we were going to look for follow through on the day. So that was our game plan going in. I'll go down to the 15-minute here. So overnight, it did get a little scary. So Friday actually did swing some MES micros, thinking that this hammer was going to follow through. And before we opened, actually, ES did break the lows. So my stop was under the lows on ES, and ES actually broke the lows from Friday, and I was stopped out on my long. So that was where my $500 loss came from on MES. Yeah, so this is looking a little bearish here. But overall, so the trend is down, right? But that daily volume and daily candle structure told us to look for longs today because this looked like we had two legs of a trend and now we're starting to range. So usually when a trend is coming to an end, the momentum dies down and instead of making another leg down, now the push down just turns into a range where we're kind of playing the box game where there's a high and a low and we're just looking for the breakout. And so that's kind of what we had on the day. We had a we had the previous low of day right here with the yellow dots, previous high of day, and we were inside of it. So this is what they call like an inside day. Um, Typically, there's not a lot of follow through, and it's more choppy action. You're going to get much bigger moves outside of the previous day's high and low. So that's what we saw going into the market. I was a little skeptical. I was thinking maybe we do need a short supply since we really couldn't even get above the high of Friday. That was not a good sign. But as we were going through, we were just going to wait and see what the price action basically told us. Sorry for the plane in the background if you can hear that. So this is kind of where we were at on the day. So we're open up in demand slightly higher than Friday, and we just kind of see what we get. So first push was straight up. This was a great push. If you got in, on the break of this up here, that was awesome. I typically don't play the open, so kind of just let it do its thing. And then we did come up and we did hit supply right here a little bit. Now this supply was not very strong, so I was still looking for longs on the day, and this volume was pretty low on this candle here. We are seeing some people that are selling, but this is still a pretty bullish candle. But it does show some sellers stepping up there. So we got to pull back first, but we did hold the highs. And so here is like, all right, this is still pretty bullish. Like this actually might break. And we had the higher volume here. We broke the lows of the previous candle and couldn't hold it. So bulls are in control at the moment. We're straight up basically. So I was trying to look for a place to get long here. Didn't see a whole lot. And then I did see this candle come down and break the lows of this one as well, and then got bought up. And so that to me said, they basically just ran stops for anyone under this candle and then under this candle. So that was twice. And this volume was really flat, right? So I actually ended up taking a long right here on the close of this candle, looking for, kind of like the high of day up here, see if we can break that and get above it. Because if we break the high of day, I was thinking that we were going to possibly squeeze because we had so many people that are short the market and are just bearish overall. So when everyone's bearish, you want to see if you can find ways to be bullish, right? Plus, from our game plan in the morning, we were just looking long. So I went long there. Stop was going to be under the lows. Yeah, I saw the sellers step in twice here to try and drive it down, and buyers bought it up each time. And so that's when I thought that buyers were stronger than sellers and we would push up. Got a little pullback, and then we did push up to the high day. Here I did take a little bit of profit because I knew that there was kind of some areas up here that were getting a little dicey. So I did scale a little bit there. And, you know, we got kind of a low volume thing going on here at the highs. So that didn't scare me too much. Kind of pulled back. And then here's where I got stopped out at break even on the rest. So this actually hit the high. This hit that zone right above, ticked it right there, and then we dumped. Now, since we ticked it and we broke, you can take out this zone, right? And you'll notice that this is a pretty strong sign to go short. Now, old me that didn't have a really like a game plan going into the morning would have just played every zone possible, and now I'd be trying to short this. So I didn't do that. I just let it play out. I was thinking, okay, we have a new zone down here. This looks like 15-minute demand at 11,850. This looks solid. Let's see if we can get a bounce because we're overall bullish on the day. Due to the daily hammer, I'm thinking that, you know, we're going to see a little bit of follow through. So this isn't follow through yet. So we did take profits up here. We got, you know, I think I got a couple grand right there. So that was a solid trade. We start pulling back a little more, pulling back. This is not seen as a long signal. One, because we're not at a zone. I think the 30 minutes a little higher. No, it's not. One, we're not at a zone, so volume is coming in. That's great, but there's really no zone to play here. And two, this body is bigger than the wick, so that shows me that sellers are stronger, volume spiking. The buyers are kind of trying. You know, we got the higher volume on this candle versus this one, and the spread on this one is smaller than this, but we're not there yet. So I was still holding off. Now here is where I saw buyers step in. We hit demand right here. We got the volume spike and we were able to close green and back in this range. So sellers tried to drive us out of this little range, this little like 2-bar range, about a half-hour range. Came back, hit it, and I went long on some micros here. The reason I did that, and that was a mistake on my end, basically. I was worried about keeping my profits from earlier in the day. And so that is not how you want to trade. You want to take the trades as they are, keep your size, keep your stops, and then just trade as you normally would because each trade is different. One doesn't have to do with the other. So if you make profit on this one doesn't matter. Just accept the risk and do it. So I went really small on this, thinking we would bounce and get a run up to the high a day. So next few candles come in, we finally get our push, beautiful push. I was looking to scale some out right here at 11,950 area because this was 15-minute supply now. Right here, 15-minute supply. We get our push up there, scale a little bit, and now I have runners basically. And this is where we just started to chop. So my entry's down here. We start to chop a little bit, chop a little bit. We're basically flagging. This is where I ended up adding to my trade. So I scaled some and then I added back in. And so since I added so big, my entry was actually up here now. And so that worried me a little bit. I ended up putting my stop kind of at break even right here because I didn't want to, or I was going to stop out at break even because I didn't want this to go any lower. I saw them kind of running some stops down here. I was thinking, all right, maybe this 15-minute zone actually does hold up. So on this candle right here, I ended up stopping out. Was it that candle? Oh, this one. I ended up stopping out on this candle because my stop was right, basically at the lows right here. Like if we were going to break this and break down, I wasn't willing to risk my profits again, which again, not the way to trade. So that is definitely something I should work on. But what I did right was I still stuck with my thesis and my plan. So this was still bullish to me. We were making higher lows, higher low, higher low, higher low. Here's a higher high and now a lower high. So we're basically forming one big pennant triangle. I don't know what you want to call it, but this is what I saw. and we were holding the highs. We were holding this trend line the entire time. VIX already had broken the low of yesterday, so VIX was like up here basically, or on the low side while we were here. And so even though I got stopped out here, I actually went back to the minis and I longed right here on the minis with a stop under the low. And lo and behold, right after that, we got a kind of a push up. This used to worry me sometimes where we get this big wick here and then we come back down. But to me now on the lower time frames, this is basically a 5 minute breakout and retest. So I'm not worried about this turning around because my stop is under here. I'm still positive on the trade. I'm still in profit, so there's nothing really to worry about. But this isn't a short. This is the break and retest of a trend line on the lower time frame. Actually, I haven't even looked at it on the 5 minute. Let me see what it looks like. Oh yeah, perfect. Literally low volume or lower volume on the retest. Yeah. So on the 15 minute, it looks like a wick and it looks kind of scary. But I would think of that as a break and retest. If this starts breaking like the open of this previous candle right here, that's where I'd be getting like a little bit worried. But yeah, so we saw that. Didn't really think too much of it because we were still in profit. And then we got to push back up to it. This is where I probably should have added to my trade a little bit and then put a stop right here. But I didn't. I just decided to ride it out. And then the next candle was that huge fucking pop. Oh man, that was so nice. And so as soon as we popped and we hit this 12,000 zone, I was out because that was my target overall. And then yeah, I mean that happened in like a split second. I wonder what it looks like on the 1 minute. Yeah, it was just instant from like 30 points in like 2 seconds. Oh man, that was beautiful. Yeah, so I got out there, and that was most of my profits on the day. That was like 3,500 right there. And so yeah, still holding the highs. So you're able to take this zone out, and then now we were pushing. I think we still are right now. So yeah, that was pretty awesome. Looking into tomorrow, I used to not trade the day before FOMC, but looking back on the charts the last few times, we've actually had some decent moves for the day prior. So I am going to be around trading it. Due to this current structure we have right here on the 2 hour, I'm seeing a higher high put in. And so I'm going to be looking bullish for trades tomorrow. So I won't be looking to short. We might see some chop. I would not doubt that since it's the day before FOMC and a lot of market participants sit out. But we have made a higher high. This is our pullback. This is our lower high, I guess, right here, lower high, double bottomed, and then we broke the neckline of the double bottom. So to me, on a intraday scale, on an intraday chart, I will be looking for longs tomorrow. Now I know we do have this 1 hour zone right here, and we do have the daily as well. So it's going to be something to watch. It might get a little tricky tomorrow. I'm definitely going to be risk off. I don't want to go into FOMC with a big loss or, just kind of being kind of shaken up on having a losing day or taking like a shitty trade. So going to be patient tomorrow. If the pre-market says we're bearish, then maybe I might switch to bearish. But overall, right now, definitely looking for a long trade tomorrow, possibly into this 12,200 area if we don't get it overnight. But we'll come back and reevaluate in the morning. So awesome! Thank you guys for watching, and I hope to help you guys. Peace.